ask for. Beautiful life. Beautiful life. What a beautiful life. Beautiful life. Listen, I woke up this morning, y'all. The sun was shining oh so brightly. I thought about how good this life is. Back in the day, it wasn't always like this. I think about the things we done been through. I think about the place that I come from. It wasn't always easy, so every day I'm thanking God for the beautiful people everywhere I go. I just need to see your smiling faces at my show. And when you're feeling real love from the family, every day is a gift, y'all, that's all I need. What a beautiful life. All that I've got, all that I need. I've got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life. Beautiful life. What a beautiful life. Beautiful life. Happiness, you know, it feels real good, y'all. For us to get it, then we gotta work hard, y'all. Every day. And don't pay attention to the things they say when they tell you that you can't make it, but you can if you try, y'all. When life is rough, I know sometimes you wanna cry, y'all. Just keep the faith and don't question. Ain't no need of stressing. Your life is still a blessing. It's not about the cars, the money, or the clothes. You can believe these things will only come and go.
Hey everyone, it is Wednesday, September the 10th, one day before 9/11, and I know there will be a lot of things going on downtown, you know, celebrating or remembering the tragedy that happened in 2001 on 9/11. So we just want to acknowledge that that's going on. But today we have a very full show. As you can see, I have some gorgeous flowers in the studio, and I also have Cyrus Webb on the line. Can you hear me, Cyrus?
I can hear you.
Oh, great. So we are going to get right into this now. I got to tell you all a little bit about Cyrus. I met Cyrus online probably about a year ago, I want to say. Or has it been longer? I don't know. But he is this dynamic gentleman who is doing big things down in Mississippi, right? It's Mississippi, right?
It's Mississippi.
Because you know why? I always want to say Georgia. I don't know why I want to say Georgia. and I don't know. Maybe because I think, you know, everybody believes, oh, you know, Atlanta is where everything happens. But you all don't know. Cyrus is doing it big in Mississippi. He is the reason why I wanted my own show. Because he interviewed me probably about a year ago, and it was the most dynamic interview I have ever done in my entire life. And I remember getting off of the radio with him, and I remember thinking out loud, oh my God, that was the best interview I've ever done, and I want to be like him when I grow up. That is how impressive he was as an interviewee. He is the owner of Shadow Play Entertainment and Conversations Media Group, which is the home of Conversations Live, Conversations Magazine, and the Conversations Book Club. He puts out a summer read, must-read list and a top 100 list every year. And he has the most amazing people in his magazine for books that he has written, things that he is doing. He actually will have a book, Words I Choose to Live By, which will be published by Bonita Hodge Publishing November of this year. And he has a website, cyruswebbspresents.com, www.cyruswebbspresents.com, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. But I want to introduce you to, I'm going to say my friend, even though we've never met in person, my good online friend, Cyrus Webb.
Well, look, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation, Sandra. Really glad to be here.
Thank you. So I'm just going to jump right into it. When you have some amazing people on your show. You had you interviewed Jackie Collins, which I was like blown away by that interview. Like, because I'm like, oh my God, that's the very first book I ever read. The very first book I ever read was of Jackie Collins. That was the very first book. Right. And when I saw that he was going to interview her, first of all, how did you get Jackie Collins?
You know, Sandra, I sent an email and prayed, to be honest. that is the absolute truth. You know, I think you know all about this. I mean, you never really know who's going to say yay or nay when you invite them. You know, some of these people, you know, they are so used to being interviewed by Time Magazine and Entertainment Tonight and, you know, right. all these household names. And so, you know, when I first realized, I said, you know what, the worst thing that could happen is she says no.
That's
but
right.
if I never ask, I'll never know. So I figured, hey, why don't I just send an email? And I had an answer within 4 hours.
Wow. So did you have to go through a publicist and all that, or did you?
Yeah, I did. Okay. I actually went through her publicist, and I had found it. I actually, on her website, went to Jackie Collins' website, found her publicist, said, I know you probably don't know me. That's how I began the email. I remember the email. I know you don't know me, but my name is Cyrus Webb, and I host this show, and, you know. And she's like, yeah, I've actually heard of you before. Let's set it up.
Wow. Okay. So when you get the reply that, yes, I've actually heard of you before, how amazing was that?
You know what? I think after I realized it wasn't a dream, because, you know, a lot of times, especially with some of these guests, I mean, I think they didn't really say yes. They were just messing with me. They're not really going to do it. You know, I mean, but when I got the email, you know, they'd heard of me before. I couldn't help but feel proud. You know, I couldn't help but feel proud, you know, that, you know, they had heard about this show and that they respected it enough to let me interview someone like her. And
I have to say that you give the best interview. I mean, he has the best questions. Is like, how long do you prepare for your show? How long does it take for you to prepare for one of your shows?
One show I spend at the least probably an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay.
Prepping for it, yes. So I spend typically, because I now do 5 shows a day, I spend typically 10 hours prepping for a day of shows.
Wow. Wait a minute. Did you just say you do 5 shows a day?
Yeah, I do 5 shows a day.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I do 1 show a day for 1 hour. It is all I can do to remember my name at the end of the day. I don't even know how you keeping it straight. It's honestly, I don't even understand that.
Yeah, it's an experience. Let me just say that. But, you know, I have to say this too, and I have to, you know, just as a side point, it's so great to actually be able to see you as we're doing this interview. It's so cool. Like, we're just sitting here at the table. I'm sitting here at the table. You're sitting at the table with a nice, beautiful young lady there at your side there, and, you know, and we're just here having this conversation. So that's cool. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing. But, you know, I made a decision. You know, Sandra, I think I've said before that, you know, the reason I'm able to do it is because this show, next to my relationship with God, is the most important thing that I do. So I made a decision to forego family. I made a decision to forego relationships to devote myself to this. And I see this really as part of my ministry. I really do. So that's why I spend that amount of time, you know, doing it, because I think that's the least I can do to help the world out.
And you know what? And one, let me just thank you for helping all of us out, because he is the biggest advocate for new authors. When my book came out, I literally just saw him on Facebook and reached out to him and was like, I'm an author. I have a book. I'd like to be on your show. And I was like him. I was like, what? He said yes? Wait a minute. He actually said yes. Now, what am I supposed to do? You know, and it was like, oh my gosh. And then I had the interview, and it was an amazing interview. And I always say that I'm his Facebook stalker, because I am always seeing what he's doing. Like, I'm tweeting, and every time he sends out a tweet, I'm like, oh, what is Cyrus doing today? Oh, he has him today? Let me tell you, when you had the guy from Scandal, I nearly lost my mind.
Oh, wow.
I think I can't even say his last name. Did you? How do you?
Dan Bukatinsky. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm not even going to try to attempt to say that again. But when he had him, when I tell you I couldn't do anything all day because I was waiting for the interview. I was like, I'm just waiting. I'm not going to do anything. Don't call me. Don't talk to me. Don't come in my office. I'm waiting for the interview. And the interview was amazing. And then he had day 26. Now, first of all, how did you get day 26 to be on your show?
Now, I have to say this. This is, okay, that interview actually was easy. And the reason it was easy, Sandra, is because that relationship with Day 26 myself actually began 3 years ago when they were still with Diddy. Okay. I had interviewed them first when they were on tour 3 years ago. Wow. And it just so happened, we had stayed in contact. And then after the group took their break, I interviewed them individually for their individual projects. In fact, we had Willie Taylor on the cover of our magazine for our music issue right after that. And so when they were getting back together, they reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like to come on, and talk about the new project. We know you'll do a review for us. And, and I said, of course I will. So we actually, their interview, I have to say, was not live. And typically 99% of my interviews are live, but because logistically it wasn't possible because they were all in different places. Okay. So we kind of had to do a cut and paste, but you wouldn't know it hearing the interview, but they actually weren't all together when we did it.
Wow. I did not know that. I thought they were all sitting in the room together, with you, like doing it all together. I would have never known that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, they were, in fact, two of them actually came in late, but you wouldn't know it in the conversation because we moved their segments up. So it sounded like they were up with everyone else when we were talking. But we actually had two of them that actually came in the conversation late. But, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for those guys. They're very talented. And, in fact, they're on the cover, if I can do a quick plug, they're on the cover of our music issue this month.
Wow. Okay.
And, they, with their new album, The Return, that is actually free. They have it free right now. For everyone to download. Oh, we got the clean and the not so clean version. Yeah, you actually can get it right now for free.
Oh, I gotta get that. Yeah.
And Sandra, you would appreciate this. Willie Taylor from the group actually wrote a short story to tell the story of the album that's available for free download too.
Really? Both of them are on iTunes, correct?
Well, actually, they have it through an online site. You can get it through SoundCloud, but also if you go to the official Day 26 Facebook page, they have the link there as well. And we actually have the link on conversationswithmusic.com as well, so you guys can get it there too. Okay. So, yeah, they have it completely for free. You can download the entire album, and the last song on the project is one. If you're a Silk fan, they redid Silk's song "Lose Control."
Get out of here! Wow. Oh my God, I am such a Silk fanatic. Oh my gosh! Oh wow! I can't. Wow. See, Cyrus always has the inside information. Always has the inside information. Now I need to understand, how did you get the cast of The Walking Dead to be on your show? I mean, my son, because I tell my son, because my son loves Walking Dead. I do not, because I'm not a horror show type of person. But according to my son, it's all about Mom. It's about the story. You got I don't want to look at the story when they eating people's heads off. So when I told him that you had the cast of Walking Dead, do you know he took the day off? He was almost as bad as me.
Wow.
He took the day off.
Yeah, that was another one of those email and pray situations. Well, let me say this. For Michael Rooker, it was. Because he was the biggest at that point. Everyone loved to hate Michael Rooker, who plays Merle Dixon. Okay. And so I reached out to his people, and they were very hesitant at first because they didn't know me. Which I didn't take offense to that. A lot of people don't know me. So, but once they got a chance to hear some other shows, they said, okay, we'll do it. Well, let me tell you the thing about that. We were set up to tape the interview. And Michael Rooker said to me, he says, you know what? He says, I'm really enjoying this. He says, but he says, I have to make a run. He says, let me give you my cell number.
Wow.
He says, call me in a couple of hours. He said, I'd like to continue this with you. And I was like,
what? Wow.
I mean, you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? But he was really just that appreciative of the questions and everything. So I called him back, and ironically, we were taping him anyway, so it wasn't live.
Okay.
But I called him back. We talked for another hour.
Wow.
And afterwards, I said, you know what, Mr. Rooker? He said, call me Michael. And I said, I would like to use this for, our magazine. He said, whatever you need, just let my people know. We put him on the cover. Do you know he put that cover on the main page of his website?
Get out of here!
Wow.
That cover, his issue became our top seller for the year 2013. And it's because he supported it so much. He was so for the interview and the conversation. He actually promoted it on his website.
Wow. Okay. Now, see, and this is why I say people don't know that Mississippi is becoming the new Atlanta. I'm just saying, and it's because of you, Cyrus.
About time.
You have. I'm telling you, you have made so many strides in multimedia. The entire arena, because I met you because I just assumed wrongly that you were only advocates for authors. And then as I got to follow you, stalk you, whatever word you want to use, I began to see that the magazine, that you had the magazine, and he had Oprah, and who was the guy on the magazine with Oprah?
Oh, Devon Franklin.
Devon Franklin, that's up on my table. And when I saw that, and then he does a lot of things with the military, a lot of the military people are reading this magazine to keep up with what's going on in the entertainment industry. And it's amazing. I do want to say real quick that I'm sorry for the loss of your grandmother. I know she was a big part of your life.
Right.
And I understand, how that feels, because I kind of sort of felt like I knew her, even though I didn't really know you, because he talked about his grandmother so much and how much she was an influence in his life, which, a lot of people don't, they're like, oh yeah, my grandma raised me, blah, 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 blah. But you knew. Yeah, and you could feel it, even though we had never talked on, other than interviews. I could feel your pain, when you lost your grandmother. And I just wanted to say that, my condolences went out to you for that. But then it was funny because I know that you have interviewed some really big names in the industry. Do you have a favorite interview?
This is always a funny thing. My favorite interviews are normally not the celebrity interviews, Sandra.
Wow.
Typically, my favorite interviews are the people, like, I'll tell you one that really got me 3 years ago. I interviewed someone with her very first radio interview. She had been sexually assaulted by her father, and she wrote a book, self-published it, called An Unspeakable Secret. Her name is Glenda Hunter. Mm-hmm. And the idea that she would trust me she'd never met me before, that she would trust me to tell her story and to share her story for the first time, to me meant so much to me. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that I remember.
Okay.
Or, just this, of course, everyone, heard about, the horrible tragedy that happened with, the school shooting last year. To have the parents come on my program this year and to talk about what that was like to get those phone calls.
Right.
Those are the interviews, because to me, those are the ones that we can most relate to. Mm-hmm. Not all of us can relate to being hounded by the paparazzi, and not most of us can relate to, having these major motion pictures with posters with our pictures on,
Right.
But all of us know what it's like to grieve. All of us know what it's like to lose. All of us know what it's like to go through a challenge. And those are the ones that I really spend the most time on, because I realize what a gift it is that they're giving, not only me to tell the story, but also for our audience to benefit from.
Wow.
I talk about on my show all the time about the importance of realizing for myself, that, we're all in this thing together. And that's really what I believe. I think we all are in this thing called life together. And I think for individuals like you and me to kind of, be able to realize that, to me, those are the real superstars. And those are the ones that stick out to me the most.
Wow. Well, and I know that you need to get ready for a show. And I'm so, because I knew when I had my own show that I wanted you on my radio show. If I could have if I could have came down to Mississippi, I would have been sitting there with you at the kitchen table. And see, you know what I did today? I actually wore a suit. I have on a blazer and pants. I'm all conservative today because I was like, you know what? I got to be snazzy for Cyrus. I can't be slacking with Cyrus. I got to be business because actually I love your work ethic. I know that you said you give up a lot to do what you do, but I firmly believe that when you love what you do, it really isn't giving up anything because you're giving and getting so much back.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to say a word, and I want you to say whatever comes to your mind, okay? Okay. Happiness.
Ooh, peace.
Future.
Television.
Today.
Enjoyment.
Inspiration.
That's one of my favorite words. But inspiration, I would say the first thing would come to mind would be life.
And conversation.
Me.
And that is a great end. But I want you to tell everyone where they can reach out to you. I know you're all over Facebook, but tell us where else we can find you.
Sure. Well, I want to say again, if you don't mind, I'd like to say, congratulations to you, not only on the great platform you have here with We Be Swingin', but what you do, I think, for the literary world as well, Sandra. I mean, I think, the work that you've been able to put out is not only entertaining, but I think you tell some stories that I believe so many people can relate to. And so I want to say to you, thank you for being a blessing to so many different people through your gift. And, I'm glad that you and I have been able to connect and to be able to spend some time together, and I look forward to doing it again. For myself, you can always go to www.cyruswebpresents.com. That's kind of the all-in-one. You can find my Facebook, my Twitter, of course, find out about the book from there as well that's coming out. And, of course, all the great things that's coming up for Conversations. We have some great surprises beginning next month. Some changes are coming for the show. I'm real excited about that. But Cyrus Webb Presents will kind of keep you all posted on it.
Great. And I'm going to be picking your brain, but because I got to say that you picked up a major sponsor in Geico for your show. So congratulations on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be picking your brain to figure out all this, because I'm still new. I'm still a baby. I'm still crawling. I haven't started walking. Although I'm crawling in some very cute shoes, I'm still crawling, though.
Well, you know what? You had mentioned these shoes you were going to be wearing. I'm glad you mentioned the shoes, okay? Can someone tell me about the shoes you have on today?
Today I have on red stilettos with like some little silver studs on the front. So when I send you the link, you'll be able to see the first couple of minutes of the shoes.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
So,
my family will tell you I'm not, I'm not good with that kind of stuff. But I mean, I know if you're wearing them, they're great.
Of course, they're always great. Well, thank you for joining me, Cyrus. It has been such a pleasure. And I'm going to be emailing you right after the show anyway, because this was, just a dream come true for me. And I just genuinely thank you for joining me. And I want everybody to check him out on Twitter, check him out on Facebook, Cyrus Webb Presents. .com, and look for him, tweet with him, because he will tweet you right back. I mean, I'll be tweeting with him 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and the only person that's tweeting me back is Cyrus. So at least I know somebody's awake with me. So I want you to go and get ready for your show. I'm going to be listening later. Just so you know, I'll be listening.
And I would like to give you a gift if you don't mind.
Okay.
I am going to give you a feature in our October-November issue of our magazine.
Get out of here! Oh my gosh! Yeah. You have rendered me speechless.
I was going to say she's speechless.
I know, and I don't get that way often.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to do for you, because I can go ahead and let your audience know first. Normally we don't do this to November, but your book, let me just say this, is one of our top 100 for the year.
Oh my gosh!
I'm going to put my review of your book in the October-November issue of the magazine, along with a picture of you and a profile of your radio show, so that readers know about you and the great things that you're doing.
Oh my God! I'm just blown away. I am literally blown away, Cyrus, and you don't even know. I'm almost near tears right now. That's amazing to me. And again, I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
It is definitely deserved. Anybody who has not read, let me just say this: you have to read it. It's a great book. So I'm not just saying it, Sandra. It really is. I mean, the way you tell Cheryl's story, I think, is great, and the stories in there too. But yeah, I mean, it definitely is one of the best books I've read this year.
Oh,
so
my
it's an honor to be able to feature it. We'll go ahead and feature it in the October-November issue of the magazine. And then, like I said, we'll profile you and your radio program as well.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much, Cyrus. And as I said, if no one knows about Cyrus Webb, you better get on Facebook. You need to get on Conversations Live. You need to listen to his show, because this man is a force that is coming through the industry right now, and I'm just lucky enough to be a part of his quote-unquote stalker team. So I look forward to talking to you later, Cyrus. I'll be sending you an email.
Same here. And look, continue blessings to you. Looking forward to hearing your conversation with Monica Mathis. She's also great.
Yes.
Looking forward to her conversation with you too.
Thank you so much, and I will be talking to you later.
All right, you guys have a great one, okay?
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
I can't even tell you.
Wow.
I don't even have words right now. Like, I don't even have words. But let me compose myself while we take let me take a commercial break for a moment while I get myself together before I bring on Monica Mathis. Stowe. Look, I can't even talk right now. But our show sponsor for today is Intrigue Publishing. They have a great conference coming up, and I want you to take a listen to their commercial.
The Creatures, Crimes, and Creativity Con is the Mid-Atlantic's book lover event of the year. 3 days of workshops, panels, and fun. 36 classes and panels for fans and writers, led by top-selling genre fiction authors. And meet dozens of authors at 2 huge book signings. All meals are included, so come dine with your favorite writers. It's October 10th through the 12th in Hunt Valley, Maryland. Register now at creaturescrimesandcreativity.com.
And as you heard, Creatures, Crime, and Creativity, that's the conference being held in Hunt Valley. It's a great conference being put on by Intrigue Publishing. I just happen to be the marketing person for that conference. And when I tell you that it's going to be an amazing time, if you are an author or a writer or want to be a writer or want to be author or a fan, especially if you are a fan, you need to be a part of this. Now, we're getting ready to talk to Monica Mathis Stowe. I think she's on the line. Monica?
Hi, Sandra. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Wonderful.
Good. I was just telling them about the conference. You were in attendance last year for the Creatures, Crime, and Creativity. They are today's show sponsors. And I'm not sure if you heard the conversation I just had Cyrus Webb on the first half hour of the show. But I want to tell you about Monica Mathis Stowe. She is the author of Where Did We Go Wrong? I met her last year, or was it 2 years ago, at the Black Authors and Readers Rock Weekend that is put on by Sharon Lucas in Bowie, Maryland. And we met, and let me just tell you, she's the reason why I had to go out and spend all this money to get my display up to par. Because when I tell you, when you are at an event and Monica is there, she will put your little sad display to shame. Do you hear me? She had a table, and she had a black tablecloth, and she had pink and black and pictures and pearls and shoes. And I walked around to her station, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, she's showing off. I think she's just showing off. Because I had not had that. I looked over at my little sad display. I had books. That's all I had. I ain't had nothing else. See, this is how you know when you're new. You know you're new when you don't have nothing like that. And I ain't had nothing like that. I mean, I literally took probably 50, 60 pictures just of her table. Like, she wasn't even in the picture. I just took the pictures of her table. Because her book cover, if Eric can put that up, her book cover has these 3 women on it. Maxine, Joy, and Gabby is I'm assuming, who's on the book cover. And her display was pink and black. So it took into account the colors of her book cover. And when I tell you, it was the most elegant thing I had ever seen in my entire life. I was like, I gotta be like her. I gotta be like her. I'm not like her yet. I'm just not like her yet.
She got a little eggshell right here.
I do, because it's like I'm still new. I'm still, like I told Cyrus, I'm crawling, but I'm crawling in cute little shoes. But I'm still learning, and I can learn a lot from people like Monica.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked at the story, I read the story, and because I know you, I was trying to figure out which character you're most like. Are you most like Maxine, Joy, or Gabby?
Well, I'm not like Maxine. Because, first of all, Maxine is a victim of domestic violence in the story.
Okay.
So definitely not like Maxine. Gabby is a gold digger.
Okay.
And she's a very nasty human being.
Wow.
So I don't want any association with Gabby whatsoever.
Okay.
If I had to pick between the three, it would be Joy.
And why?
Because she was the most conservative of the three. The other characters depended on her the most.
Okay.
And
so that's how I am with my circle of girlfriends. At least that's how I think I am.
Okay. And you know what? It's funny because I would have picked Joy for you too. Because
really?
Yes, and here's why. Because you're such a sweet spirit. You know how you meet people and they have a very sweet spirit in them? And that's Monica. She has a very sweet spirit. Not that I can tell. And if she's having meltdowns, it must be after she takes down her fabulous display. Because nothing gets her flustered. I've never seen her like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Like, I've never seen her like that. It's like, like we were at an event a couple weeks ago, Flow Fest. Yes. And it was hotter than hell outside.
Yes.
I mean, and all of us were complaining. And Monica, she was just over there with a little tissue, just, like, it's a little warm. That's what she kept saying. It's a little warm. Here I am. I got a book. I'm fanning and I'm blowing and I'm huffing and puffing my hair off. I was like, Lord, it's hot as hell out here. And all she kept saying was, it's a little warm. It's just a little warm. No, she was drinking wine, so maybe that's why. Because she was, I couldn't even make it. I couldn't even make it in Charlottesville. And Charlottesville was hotter than, oh Lord Jesus, I thought it was hot in Flow Fest. Charlottesville, South Carolina was like no joke. So is there a part 2? Now I'm confused. Is there a part 2 to Where Did We Go Wrong?
There is. It's Where Did We Go Wrong Again.
Okay.
That was
okay.
So that came out last year, 2013.
Okay. So that's what came out in January of 2013.
Yes.
Okay. So now I have not read part 2 yet. So give us a little synopsis of what happens in part 2.
Okay. So it's a continuation. Part 1, Where Did We Go Wrong, leaves off with a cliffhanger.
Okay.
There's a shooting.
Yes.
So in the sequel, you find out who gets shot. And the sequel closes everyone's story. At least I thought it closed everyone's story.
Okay.
But readers are sending me emails asking me to continue these stories.
I'm sorry to laugh at you.
So what you thought was done might not be
done.
No, I thought that was enough. I thought the characters are done. Their stories are told. I closed the chapter on each character.
Okay.
So I might do maybe a short story for each character down the road, no time soon, because I have another series coming out that I'm working on. Well, but I love that the readers want more of these characters because I think they're kind of crazy.
Okay. But you see, now let me just tell you, readers like crazy. Readers love crazy. Because you know why? Because they are not that way. So because they're not that way, they like to read it. They like to see what the other part of the population does when they're being crazy. Now, do you think that each character could have their own book, or would you want them to stay together?
Oh, I definitely think they could have their own book.
Okay. So has that been a thought?
There's enough drama for each one of them, for sure.
Okay. Now, you said you were working on a new series. So what is this series about?
This is a series about firefighters' wives and the drama and conflicts they go through being married to these sexy firefighters.
Now, this won't have nothing to do with you because you married to, as you say, a sexy firefighter, would it?
I am married to a sexy firefighter, and I did get the idea from 20 years of being a firefighter's wife. But I'm not telling their stories. This is all fiction that I'm making up in my own mind.
Yeah. Okay, so because it is about firefighters, is your husband like anxiously waiting to see what the outcome will be? Or is he giving you tips like, no, you should put this in there?
Not at all. He really doesn't care. And look, as long as I continue describing him as the sexy firefighter, I think he's fine.
Even that comment, Eric, my board operator had to laugh on that one. So tell me, I know you go to a lot of events. Tell me, how does your husband travel with you? I know he's a firefighter, so is he able to go with you to a lot of events? I don't think I've ever met the sexy firefighter, so I think I might be blushing if I met him, because I'm so used to you saying your fine husband that I'd be like, oh, I can't look at him directly in the eyes. I don't want to, I don't want no problems.
No way. No way.
That might be the one time I see her get a little, wait a minute. No. So does he go with you? I know you have a son too. Do they travel with you a lot?
They do. They traveled with me last year when I did the 12-city book tour.
Okay.
They were a big help. He sort of slowed down a little bit this year because most of my stuff is local.
Okay.
So I usually take my son. Mm-hmm. If he's not able, because this last event we did, you had to be 21 or older to get in.
Right.
So he couldn't go. He's just 13. So
okay.
I brought my good author friend Norwood Holland with me, and he was my help that day.
Yes, yes.
So I always have a crew with me.
Okay.
And people know how to set up my table, and people know how to put the... So I have a crew that works with me, trying to get the people to the table. That's the purpose of me decorating my table the way I do.
And I'm going to tell you, every time she's near me, I don't want to be near her. And it's not because I don't like her. It's just because her display is so much better than mine. I'm working on it though. You've set the standard when it comes to table displays. And so I'm working on my display, but I don't even know how she came. Okay, let me ask you. When you first came out, when your book first came out, how did you decide that that's what you wanted your table display to look like?
Well, like you, I didn't have a table display when I first started. I think I had my books stacked on the table.
Uh-huh.
And then I noticed everybody else had the same setup.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, I need to do something to draw people to my table.
Okay.
So I went out to the fabric store, got some fabric, got anything pink and black and elegant looking that I could find. Anything that represented friendship. Like I have a frame, a picture frame with each character in it, and it says friends.
Yes.
So I put that on the table. Stiletto shoes, which is actually a ring holder.
Okay.
And one is pink and one is black. So I had those just different little things to make people come to the table and like, man, what is this about?
Right.
And then that's when I wheel them in with my 30-second pitch.
So you throw out the line, you set the hook, and then you reel them in.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is your 30-second pitch? Because, most people don't know. So what is your 30-second? If I'm just, walking up to your table and, I have a lot of listeners on the show. So if I see that you're still ranked on Amazon, which is a great thing. Mm-hmm. After a year, she's still ranked on Amazon. And that's a hard thing to do, to stay in the ranking on Amazon because there's millions of books on Amazon. How do you I'm walking up to your table. I'm like, oh, wow, what's your book about? So what would you tell me?
Okay. Are you a fan of reality TV?
No.
Okay, I'm not either. I'm not a fan of reality TV at all. I don't like that the shows pit women against each other as adversaries. Mm-hmm. So I wrote a book where women actually get along, and all the conflict and drama comes from the universal problems we experience as women.
Oh, see? Now that's a great pitch. Now see, and I really don't like reality shows, but see, I read that book. Well, okay, I already read the first book, so now I got to go get the second book as soon as I get home and get my Kindle. Now I'm gonna have to get the second book because I love the story. I just love the story because you're right. Most books pit women against women, even in novels. A lot of women are against each other. Now, your book, they are held together by their friendship. I think their friendship, to me, their friendship is what's holding all of them together. Joy is trying her best, but I think it's the push-pull of their friendship. And a lot of people don't have that. And I think even though your book is for adults, girls ages 16, 17, 18, this is a type of novel that they should be reading as they go out into the world to college to find out how to interact with their other women friends. Because women really don't know how to interact with each other. They really don't. No. And most people say, well, you know, two women will never get along because they're going to be either too much alike or too much not alike each other. So, but too much I find it's going to be too much competition. And I'm not sure. I don't think it really was any competition between Maxine, Joy, and Gabby, was there?
Not at all, just pure support. And the thing I loved about writing these characters, even when they were wrong, they supported each other. They let them know you were wrong for what you did, but I'm still your friend. I still love you, and I still support you.
And that's the key. That is really the key in women's friendship. That even though someone could be wrong, they can say, in this novel can say, you know what, you wrong. It's two left shoes. But you know what? You still my girl. I still like you. I still love you. You know, we can still hang out. And that's in everyday life, people do that because, you know, I have some friends that people be like, why are you still her friend? She did that to you. And you know why? And I say, because, you know, just a mistake is a mistake. Okay, yeah, I might be salty about it for a while, but they still my friend. You know, you don't just drop that off just because they, you know, not.
Have grown to learn to accept people for who they are.
Right. Now,
exactly. Mean girls need friends too.
Exactly. So now in your new novel, do you have a name for this novel yet?
The Firefighters' Wives series?
Oh, yeah. Oh, so it's going to be the Firefighter Wives.
Yes. So I think right now the tentative title is Love Me Through the Fire.
Okay.
But it has changed. Don't hold me to that. I have this editor who's a beast, and she comes up with titles better than I do. You know. So, right now, that's what we're calling it. Love Me Through the Fire.
And is the literary publishing group? Is that the group? Is that who is going to be publishing this series?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you meet this publishing group?
Well, it's an independent small press in Maryland.
Okay.
And they loved the story. I sent a query. I wasn't confident enough to go out to a big publisher, so I sent a query, and they loved it. And I've been working with them, and it's been very successful so far.
Wow.
Love it.
Wow. So what are your plans for the rest of the year? Are you still doing any tours? Are you still doing any events? I know you're going to be, are you going to be at the Readers Rock weekend in October?
No, I will be in, for the next 6 weeks, I think from this weekend, beginning this weekend until the end of October, I will be somewhere out of this area. I will be in New York, I'll be in Texas. I'll just be on the road every weekend, leaving Friday and coming back Sunday.
So is this part of a tour or?
You know, it wasn't supposed to be because I'm trying to finish this book. But people in, you know, book clubs, they invite me, and I can't say no because that's my support right there. So I have to put my book on hold or take it with me on the road, and I have to go to these events, and I have to show up and appreciate the support they give me.
Well, and that's true because a lot of people, they don't realize that as an author, because Borders is gone and Barnes & Noble is not really accepting of small press, you know, small published authors, that you have to go out and find your way. So are you finding that you're doing more in-person events than you were doing in the past?
So when I started in 2012, there were a lot of bookstores out there. When my second book released in 2013, majority of those same bookstores, they were closed. They were gone.
Wow.
So now I do a lot of schools. Schools order the book, like you said, for high schools, and then bookstores. I do a lot with Books A Million, and Amazon is incredible. They promote me. I can open my email every week, and I get something about, have you checked out Where Did We Go Wrong? And this is an email they send to their group, and I'm just so thankful. And I think it has something to do with the ratings and the reviews that people leave, so I'm grateful for that.
Now, so let me ask you about your ratings when you, or in your reviews. When if someone gives you a not real good review, do you try to get in contact with them to see if you can fix it, or see, you know, is there anything you can do to make them, you know, less
not at all.
critical?
Not at all. I appreciate the negative reviews as well as the positive, because I know, and I was taught from the wonderful Ella Curry, that not everyone will read and like your work. So go into this with an open mind. You're going to get bad reviews as well as good, so just accept it. And that's what I've done. Of course, it hurts, but it doesn't stop me.
Right. Yeah, and I think for a lot of authors, they might get that one review that's like, oh, my God, I can't believe they didn't like it. And why didn't they like it? And I need to contact them. I need to figure out why. You know, I had a bad review because they was like, oh, no, you know, the novel that I wrote was about domestic violence. And it's the ironic part of this is when my novel first dropped, it was right before Chris Brown and Rihanna.
Oh, wow.
And now, because I just re-released it in August, it is right before Janae and Ray Rice. It is almost like, I don't know. It's like this novel keeps being released in a timely manner, and there was a woman, she was like, oh my gosh, she gave it like 2 stars. And she said, the only reason I'm giving it 2 stars is because the author wrote the book. But no one wants to read about that because no one really wants to go inside of that kind of a situation. And your character is a domestic abuse survivor. Did you have a lot of women that found that might have been like, oh, that's just a little bit too much for me in reading fiction?
No, what surprised me the most was I wrote Joy to be the favorite character. What happened was Maxine ended up being the favorite character because she was abused, but then she came out of it. And well, at the end of the sequel, she goes back to her husband. But at the end of the first book, she goes back to her husband. But in the sequel, you will see how her story plays out, and she grows from it. She's just not a victim the entire time through the novel. And I think that's what women relate to, because they send me emails and they say, oh, I can understand. I respect her. She didn't stay. She did. So that's the whole thing with domestic violence, I think. People want to see women come out better than when they were dealing with it.
Right. And
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And, you know, they said, you know, they had all these special reports on yesterday. But the main thing that I took from that was most women, it takes 5 to 7 times before they actually leave. And that's because of their own issues that they're going through. So, I mean, I'm in a way, I'm glad that my novel is out right now, because now it will help people understand why my character stayed. Now, it is a sequel, so you'll find out that she does leave, but there's still a whole process that has to happen. So when you write your novels, are you writing it for, quote unquote, a message, or are you just writing it for enjoyment?
I'm writing it, I sort of write the story I want to read, if that makes any sense to you. So I get an idea from listening to music. I can hear a song and a story pops in my head, and I just want to read that story. So I'll just start jotting some notes, and then I'll sit down and start I don't use an outline. I just free write, and it comes out. The first draft is awful. It should just go straight into the trash. But I look through it and I pick out parts that worked, and then I'll make the second draft, and then that's usually the best. And then the editor will look at that and she'll say, okay, now go rewrite the real story. So for me, it's usually 3 drafts before she will even edit it.
Wow. So and you know what? And most people think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna write a book in 1 week and then I'm gonna get it edited and then my book is out in 3 months.
Out with books every month, every other month. How do they do that?
I have no idea, because I have no idea. I mean, for me, how do you even write a book, and how does it get edited within a week? How is that happening? Unless they're editing every word as you're writing it, sitting next to you, I don't even see how that's possible. But some people are doing it. Some people are churning out 7, 8, 9, 10 books a month,
I know.
And it's like, what in the world? But then, I found out that some of them are not really full-length novels, and they're only doing it on ebook. So if you're only doing it on ebook, it makes it a little easier because all you do is upload, and then when you get a review that says, oh, this grammar is wrong, you pull it down, you fix it, you throw it back up. And so that's how that cycle continues, which I feel is giving everyone else who's out there doing it in the year span, it is making them feel that they're taking too long with their product. Are you finding that that's what you're coming up against?
Oh, every time I go on Facebook and I make a comment, I put a post, you can see for yourself. When is your next book coming out? Mm-hmm. Oh, this is all good. I like your post, but please tell me when the next book is coming out.
Right.
So they don't want me to waste my time on social media. They want me to get it out.
And you know what? Yeah, me too, because I need to see these sexy firefighter. I need to know the story of the firefighter wives. I'm just saying. So when do you think that novel, that series will be out? Are you looking at like late 2015?
No, early 2015.
Okay. So
I'm on my third rewrite.
Okay.
So it's close.
Okay. All right. And so tell everyone where they can find you.
So my website is www.MonicaMathis.Stowe. I'm on Amazon, Facebook, Twitter. There are links on my website to get me through any of those social media and Amazon. Books A Million, and most independent stores in the area. And that's about it. Twitter, Facebook.
Okay. Well, and thank you for joining us today. I appreciate. I'm going to be looking at you. I tweet every day, so I'm always going to be putting something out there on Facebook and on Twitter, and it's such a joy whenever you are around. And like I said, she is the sweetest spirit. And you all need to go grab these 2 books. I'm getting mine as soon as I get off the air today. I'm getting number 2 when I get off the air today, because I need to see what's going on with Maxine. See, Maxine was my favorite person too.
Maxine too?
Yeah, Maxine was my favorite person only because I know a couple Maxines. So that's why, because I'm like, oh, well, yeah, this is how they act. Yep, that's how they act. So that's what I do. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. And by the way, I love your shoes.
Thank you. Thank you. Aren't they cute? Every week. Oh my gosh, you wait till you see the shoes next week. Oh my, I buy shoes now, and now I'm hoping maybe I should just wear 2 pair and do like a 1 minute in the beginning of the show and a minute after the show to have 2 different pairs of shoes. But I think that might be a little bit too much. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will be talking to you soon.
Okay, thanks for having me. Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So that was Miss Monica Mathis Stowe. She is the author of Where Did I Go Wrong and Where Did I Go Wrong Again. I just need to say that this show has been a phenomenal time. But I want to say I had my book launch on Sunday, and we got these amazing cupcakes. They came from Sweet Thing Black Orchard Bakery in Waldorf, Maryland. When I tell you that the people that ate these cupcakes, I thought it was going to be a stampede at the table, because I don't even like chocolate, but she made this chocolate cupcake that had the little chocolate bits at the bottom. I forgot what she called it, but that I just knew a fight was going to break out at the table over these cupcakes. Her name is Melody, and she's going to be in the studio one day, and I'm just letting the studio know, everybody in this area behind the curtain and all, she's bringing cupcakes. Just so you know, don't touch the wedding cake one, because that's the one I want. But she made these amazing cupcakes and sent them to our book release party. And when I tell you that these cupcakes were amazing, she got a rum cake cupcake. Oh my goodness! Don't drive after you eat that cupcake.
It also has a banana pudding cupcake.
A banana pudding one. She did. She even sent one to my personal assistant. It's raspberry one. And you all, if you are in the Waldorf area, you all need to get these cupcakes. She's going to be down here on the studio with us one day.
She's
very
right
soon.
On the other side of Cafe Rio.
Cafe Rio in Waldorf and Festival Way. You can even call her and order some. Her number is 301-705-7708. I want to have another quick message from our sponsors today, and then I'm going to come back and tell you what we have coming up next week.
Crimes and Creativity Con is the Mid-Atlantic's book lover event of the year. 3 days of workshops, panels, and fun. 36 classes and panels for fans and writers, led by top-selling genre fiction authors. And meet dozens of authors at 2 huge book signings. All meals are included, so come dine with your favorite writers. It's October 10th through the 12th in Hunt Valley, Maryland. Register now at creaturescrimesandcreativity.com.
And I want to thank our sponsors this week, Intrigue Publishing. And again, like you heard the commercial, they are putting on the Creatures, Crime, and Creativity Conference. It is not just for authors. It's not just for writers. It is also for fans. So if you are a fan of sci-fi, of thrillers, of mysteries, of paranormals, you need to be at this conference because we have some phenomenal guests that are coming through. They're going to be interviews. They're going to be giving classes. And if you want to learn how to be the best writer that you can be, you need to sign up for this conference. It is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you cannot make Friday and you need to leave on Sunday, come for Saturday only. There are a few spots left for Saturday where a lot of the things will be happening. You can have all the meals that you want on Saturday. Okay, it's not like a buffet style, but you're not going to just graze throughout the whole day. But you're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner on Saturday. You get to see the keynote speaker, which is John Gilstrap this year. And so if you really want to have a fantastic time, you need to be there. I want to thank Mr. Handsome for these flowers.
Thank
you. If
you
are, man,
Tiger
this
lilies,
flower, roses. Oh my goodness. This thing is sunflowers. This thing, hydrangeas. This thing is amazing. It would take up the entire computer screen if I was to put it in front of the camera right now. But it is amazing. I want to thank my assistant, Miss Tiffany, Miss Lady, Miss Gemini, because she worked tirelessly for me on Sunday at my book release party. I had a photo shoot that was happening, people, and I was running around all crazy, but I was looking fabulous for that photo shoot, though. So you wait till you see these pictures, honey, because
fabulous.
EH Photography did an amazing job. My new logo is one of the photos that she took of me, and when I tell you, I have never looked as fierce as I was looking on Sunday. People, you couldn't tell me anything. If I had the true diva, diva-deliciousness going. Is that even a word?
And the pictures in the limo.
And the limo bus, honey.
Yes.
Ooh, Lord.
Stay tuned.
Yeah,
we're working on our Twitter.
We're working on the Twitter account for the We Be Swangin' Show.
At We Be Swangin'.
At We Be Swangin', just like it is right here. See my finger following this. That is what it is on Twitter. All together. No spaces. All together. At We Be Swangin'. Because just like we be swangin', you can be swangin' with us too. So until next week, people, I didn't have nothing to say on my soapbox because it was a good week. I got a beautiful life, just like Chuck Brown said, and he's going to take us out. Until next week, me, Be Swangin', Mrs. Gemini, we will see you next Wednesday.
Live, laugh, love.
All that I've got is all that I need. I got you, baby, you got me. What more could I ask for? Beautiful life.